Hi everyone and welcome back to grade 11 math with Mr. Simons. We make math simple and get you exam ready. Today's lesson we're looking at trig functions, grade 11 November 2019, and we're interpreting functions, right? So when we say interpreting, we're going to give you a drawing. You must be required to find the equation of either the sine, cos or tan graph, and then we ask you related questions like amplitude, period, etc. Right, so let's look at the question. So question 6, sketch below are the graphs of the function f of x equal cos x plus q and g of x equal 2 sine px for x element of negative 60 to 120. So there, my domain graph is from minus 60 all the way to 120. It's drawn. Plus q means the graph is either shifted up and down, and that 2 there in front of sine means that my amplitude highest point is 2 and my lowest point would be negative 2. Px, we have to check whether the period is 360, 180, etc. Right? So 6.1, write down the coordinates of the maximum turning point of G in the given interval, highest point where it turns. Determine the values of x where f is strictly increasing in the given interval. So when the x value is increasing, the y value is increasing. Determine the values of q and b, and use your graph to determine the values of x, for which 2 cos x sine 3x minus sine 3x is greater or equal to 0 for 4 marks. So you can pause here and try to answer some of the questions, see what you know and what you don't know, so that when we work through the solutions, we are on point and we get you to understand what you are misinterpreting, right? So without further ado, let's start. So write down the coordinates of the maximum turning point of G in the given interval. Right, so there the highest point it turns there is at 2. And the x value there is given as 30. So that point is 30 degrees and 2. So my maximum turning point, 30 degrees and 2. They said minimum turning point, you see there at 90 and negative 2. Or at minus 30 and negative 2. Right. Next question. Alright, so for 6.2, determine the values of x where f is strictly increasing in the given interval. Right, so we're looking at the graph of f, which is the graph in red. Right, so there from minus 60 to 0, the x values are increasing. If you look at the y values are increasing till there. After that, as the x is getting bigger, the y values are decreasing. So it's strictly increasing between minus 60 to 0. So strictly increasing means my x values must increase, causing my y values to increase. So minus 60, x greater than minus 60, less than 0. After 0, it starts decreasing, right? So I hope that makes sense to you. So 2 marks, 1 for the endpoints, and 1 for the inequality signs being correct. 6.3, determine the values of q and b. Right? So fx is the graph of cos x. Right? There is 1, it goes through the point half here. So the highest point it reaches half, and the lowest point here it goes to is half also. There, q, lowest point, see if I look there, should go all the way to 1.5, which is or negative 3 over 2. So q there, point that it goes through there, that graph is shifted half a unit down. Remember, cos of 0 is 1. So cos of 0 is supposed to be by 1. But here it goes through half. So that means 1 minus half would give me half. Therefore, q is negative half. Right? If you look there at sine, right? So for x, for it to be x, it needs to go 360 degrees. So if you look here, start by 0 for g. I go all the way to 120 to plot one full graph. Remember, one crest and one trough makes one full graph. Right, so one full graph is 120, so 360 divided by 3 gives me 120. Therefore, P there should then be 3. So my period there, for it to be 120, would read 3x, and then from there that means 360 divided by 3, which then gives me a period of 120 degrees. Right, so I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the next question. Right, so 6.4, use your graph to determine the values of x, for which 2 cos x sine 3x minus sine 3x is greater or equal to 0 for 4 marks. Right, so there, if we take out the common factor, you see it's separated by a minus sign. So always look for common factor, which is sine 3x. Then I'm left with 2 cos x minus 1, meaning sine x divided by sine 3x gives me 1. So that stays 2 cos x minus sine 3x divided by sine 3x gives me negative 1. Right, so sine 3x is the equation for g of x, and 2 cos x minus 1 is the equation of f of x. Right, so for that to be greater than 0, it means a positive times a positive. Give me greater than 0. So we need to look at where g of x and f of x are both positive, or negative times negative will give me greater than 0. So g of x, we look here from 0 to 60. G of x is negative, or not negative, it's positive, and then f of x is also positive. So positive times positive, there in between would be give me a positive answer, and any positive answer is greater than 0. But after 60, g of x is negative till 120, and f of x is negative till 120. So negative times negative also gives me positive, which is greater than 0. So therefore my answer is x greater or equal to 0 degrees, x less or equal to 120 degrees. So I hope it makes sense. I hope you understand. Continue practicing. Wishing you nothing but the best. God bless. Bye.